Welcome, fellow CompTIA enthusiasts. I'd like to provide you with some free questions and answers to ensure that you pass the CompTIA A+ 220-801 and 220-802 exams on the first try. This is the first of approximately 60 videos being created to help you pass these expensive exams. These videos will provide you with sample questions and answers for every domain and objective in the A+ 800 series exams. I'm going to use my new exam simulator to generate the questions and show the answers. Now in this video, this code will randomly generate questions from the A+ Essentials exam number 220-801, PC Hardware Domain 1.0, Objective 1.3, which is Compare and Contrast RAM Types and Features. And yes, I've got all the performance-based questions that you will encounter in the real exam in this simulator, but we'll get to those in a few minutes. Now keep in mind that this is not a brain dump. I'm not giving you the minimum amount of information you need to pass the exams. This is a complete education. There is just as much legacy equipment out there as there is new equipment, and this simulator will prepare you for just about anything that you might encounter in the field. That's why there's over 4,000 questions. This sim covers everything. For these demos, I've created a special abbreviated database. Due to time constraints, I've taken the original 78 question database for this particular objective and reduced it down to just a few questions. There's tons of information available on my eBay site that you can check out by clicking on the link below. And there are plenty of links there that will get you to the CompTIA.org screens and other sites for more information on spaced repetition in learning and computer adaptive testing, or CAT. That's what the real CompTIA exams are. They're computer adaptive tests. No one ever gets the same test twice, and you probably won't either. It depends on how you answer the questions as to what your next question is going to be. Right now, I'm going to run the code in the normal mode. The normal mode simply asks us questions and we click on the answers. And I'm going to skip past the flash mode, but basically it turns the program into a game. You set the timer and then see if you can answer the questions before the screen changes. You can turn on the optional tones to let you know when those screens change. And I'm not going to spend any time on the auto mode either, but it turns the program into a slideshow. You set the individual timers for the number of seconds that you want to show the questions and the answers, and the program streams the information by itself. You can also set that on repeat and have it stream indefinitely. I like to play online poker on my desktop while running auto mode on my laptop. I read the question, I go back to my game, I mentally make sure that I know the answer. When I hear the tone, I know that the answer will be shown. I glance to make sure my answer is correct. A moment later, I'll get another question. It's true multitasking. You could be doing just about anything, watching a movie, surfing the web, answering email, whatever, and still be studying. But right now, I'm going to shut these modes off. And what's really unique about this code is that you will always learn the correct answer, even if you select the wrong answer as your first choice. For the text-based questions that we see here, the correct answers light up in green and the incorrect answers light up in red. And the graphics that we will encounter, they react in a slightly different way. We'll look at that in a minute. Even if you select a wrong answer, you can still click on the other boxes until you find the correct answer. So just watch for a moment and I'll answer some questions to show you how it works. Now I've also added a new rationale field. that gives you additional information on your selection and may offer more details as to the reason why your particular answer was right or wrong. Now, not every question has or needs rationale, but a lot of information can be gleaned from viewing this field. Let's look at a couple more questions real quick. Each of the following acronyms describes a physical memory format that's commonly used in desktop computer systems. One of them does not describe its own physical format. Which one is it? Well, it's obviously the DRAM, because the IMM stands for Inline Memory Modules. And that's why DRAM is different. It doesn't really describe its physical format. Let's go to the next question. What does SDRAM synchronize to? It synchronizes to the system bus. You have to answer the question correctly on the first try in order to get credit for the answer. Now you can see I've answered 2 out of 3 correctly for 66%. And after you've taken your quiz, you see your results screen. You see the name of the quiz and how many questions you answered correctly on the first try. You see the questions that were asked, your first answer, and the correct answer. Now if you click on Menu and then go to History, you can see the information from that quiz entered into the history database. You can clear this list or go back to the main menu. I like to have it sorted by descending and time and date. That way it always puts my most recent exam on the top of the list. Let's look at motherboards real quick. This shows you some of the graphics capability. On the ATX motherboard, identify the PCI 32-bit bus master slots. Correct answer lights up in yellow, and you get credit for answering it on the first try. Go to the next question. These are the same types of things you're going to see. You're going to be expected to identify parts on a motherboard. On the ATX motherboard, identify the ATA RAID connector. Next, what transfers data directly from the drive to memory without involving the CPU? That's direct memory access. You can see it's not DDR, SATA, or PATA, and there is information in the rationale screen to help you out there. Now I guarantee you that the repetition you get from using this code will burn the information into your brain like a CDR. You will eventually get to where you can glance at the answers and you will already know what the question is. That's where I'm at, and isn't that exactly where you would like to be? Let's take a quick look at the database. The drop-down box here shows our objectives. You can create new questions, edit, delete, and save your questions. I don't think there's another simulator out there that allows you complete control over your own database. You also have a hint feature. You can add a hint to any question. If you have trouble remembering a particular answer, you simply add a hint to the database. Then, when you encounter that question again, you have the option of viewing the hint. And I guarantee you that after viewing your hint a few times, you won't need to view it anymore. Now let's quickly get to the performance-based questions. These are similar to the performance-based questions that you will encounter in the real exam. And actually, I've included many more choices in my program than you will get on the real exams. It's going to prepare you for anything that you may run up against and a lot more. Now, for the matching questions, you simply drag and drop the items to the correct box. Let's flip over and get to one of those for an example here. Here's a matching question. Drag and drop the connectors on the left to their matching interfaces or colors on the right. You will be expected to identify cables and connectors on the real exam. Let's do a couple examples here real quick. Let's start with the mouse. I've got a bunch of green mice running around in my house. That means I've got green mini DIN mice. I've also got green and purple connectors on the back of my computer. The green for the mice, the purple's the keyboard. Now I've also added this new cheat mode, which is going to help you out early on, and you'll find that after you use this for a while you're not going to need it anymore. But I'm going to turn it on real quick, and it's going to allow you to score yourself at any time during the quiz. If you have it turned off, it's going to make you work for it. You're going to have to answer everything before you're allowed to score it. Let's go for another one here. S-video. S-video is yellow. I can score. I can see that everything I've done so far is correct. We'll grab one more, USB. USB is flat. It's 4-pin. 2 pins for the voltage, 2 pins for the data. Drag it to the correct place. Score it. I've got it correct. You can reset and start over. And I'm going to go back to my performance-based questions, and we're going to get to the command line questions. Now for the command line questions, you simply drag the correct commands into the drop boxes in the correct order. And rather than type the commands on the screen like you're going to be doing on the real exams, you simply drag and drop the correct commands in the correct order and then hit the score button to see how you did. We're going to turn the cheat mode on again. I'm on a Windows 7 machine. Open a command prompt window. I'm in this directory. List the contents of that directory. Well, let's do that real quick. I'm on a Windows 7 machine. Obviously, the first thing I got to do is click on the Start button. I'm going to go to Accessories. I'm going to go to All Programs, then Accessories, and then I'm going to click on Command Prompt. And you can see that I'm allowed to score it. I've got everything correct so far. It wants us to list the contents of that directory. That's the dir command, the directory command. It wants us to navigate to the documents. CD or change directory to documents. You can see so far everything is correct, and the last two are pretty obvious. I'm going to type a trib, which is for the attributes of this particular file. I want to turn on the read only, and then I'm going to exit because it asks us to close the window. You can see that I scored. I got it all correct, and I've got a reveal button that will show everything in the correct order. Now, CompTIA introduced performance-based questions with the 800 series exams. You can expect to see more of these types of questions in the future. You see, CompTIA finally realized that people are going to these brain dump sites and just memorizing the answers without really knowing what the answers really mean. And so they've started to add more performance-based questions recently, and that means you need to study for and pass this exam as soon as possible because they may add more questions at any time. The cost of this simulator is nothing compared to failing either exam even once. At the time of this recording, each exam costs $183 pass or fail, and you need to take and pass both exams to get certified. Retakes are $183 pass or fail for as many times as you need to take them. Thousands of people all over the world have grabbed a copy of this simulator and used it to help them pass these expensive exams. People tell me that this simulator is exactly what they were looking for. Don't be one of the people who email me to say, I wish I'd found this simulator before I failed the exam. Check out the feedback on my eBay site. It's totally off the charts. People absolutely rave about this product. Grab your copy before someone else gets the dream job that you deserve. It's an instant download. As soon as I get your PayPal receipt, the links are sent out for the download site. And seriously, you can be studying for the exam within 5 minutes. And remember, the best way to pass the CompTIA A+ exams the first time is to ace the test before you take the test.